What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going back to Luckiest People Who Survived the Impossible 6. And if y'all want to watch the other 5 parts, it'll be up here in the time card. And yeah, the title is pretty self-explanatory. We're just going to watch people who survived the impossible. And at the end, we're gonna find out who the most impossible survival scenario was. Yeah, so yeah, without further ado, let's just get straight into this video.
Lady Luck can be a cruel mistress, but for some ludicrously lucky people, she comes just when they need her most.
Yeah, that might be the best, like, you know, Stan Lee cameo in any movie, bro. I think it is.
Who survived falling 14,500 feet without
Okay, yeah. So, I was gonna say this, but I almost say it in every video now. If there is someone that skydived from a plane and somehow survived or survived a plane crash, they automatically win. I don't care, bro. How are you surviving 15,000 feet with no parachute? Yo, I'm sorry, this person's probably gonna win. Unless someone somehow, I actually don't know. This person's probably gonna win.
Parachute to a girl who was frozen solid for a whole night. The following stories of these real-life legends are sure to leave your jaw.
Oh, okay, you know what? The only way that person doesn't win if this old ass fucking bitch gets taken by a tornado hella high up and then it pushes her down and then she somehow survives. But that's not gonna fucking happen, bro. So yeah, we'll see here.
On the floor. So get ready to shuffle to the edge of your seat as we take a look at even more of the luckiest people who survived against impossible odds.
Oh, here we go.
Tree terror.
Whoa!
There's nothing more relaxing than chilling out by the pool with a good book, right? Well, back in July 2020, one mother from Georgia found out it can be anything but relaxing. She was casually reading and watching her kids play in the pool.
There's a video?
When suddenly her son started shouting to her.
Damn! Oh, she would have straight up died, probably. I'm not gonna lie. Or she would have, like, seriously got fucking injured. Shout out to your kids, bro.
Whoa, she leapt out of the way just in time. That heavy tree splintered and smashed down directly onto the sunbed.
What did the kids see? Like, it doesn't even look
been lounging on moments before. If she'd reacted a single second later, they'd have needed an adult-sized spatula to get her off that sunbed.
Yeah.
Kudos to that kid for the warning.
I don't even know what he's saying.
Oh my god!
That is insane.
Dollar Bill Morgan.
Huh?
There's bad luck, there's good luck, and then there's Bill Morgan. Back in 1998, this 36-year-old Australian truck driver was involved in a brutal accident that nearly cost him his life. He survived, but after being rushed to the hospital, he was given a drug that triggered an allergic reaction and sent him into cardiac arrest. His heart stopped for a full 14 minutes. But miraculously, doctors managed to revive him. But sadly, he was completely comatose. For 12 long days, Bill's family waited for any sign of life. Then, just when they were preparing for the worst, Bill woke up. Following a complete recovery, he got engaged to his girlfriend, netted a new job, and later, on a whim, bought a scratch card. Amazingly, he won a car worth 17,000 Australian dollars. Word of Bill's incredible turn of luck.
Yeah, honestly, bro, I'm saying this right now. If anyone here watching survived something like that, or survived something insanely lucky, always go out and buy a fucking scratch ticket, bro. I'm just saying. There's been a lot of instances in these videos where someone survived the impossible odds and then they go get a scratch ticket and they fucking win millions of dollars. Just saying, bro. If you survived some lucky encounter, go buy a fucking lottery ticket as fast as you can, bro.
Got around, and he was asked to reenact his win for Channel 9 News. So he bought another scratch card, the cameras started rolling, and then this happened.
I just won 250,000. I'm not joking. I just won 250,000.
Bill won the jackpot of 250,000 Australian dollars live on
Wait, back to back?
Rocky.
Because he's strapped. He. What the fuck did this guy just say?
250,000 Australian dollars live on air.
He just said,
Rocky.
Let's never do that again. Okay, that was cringe. Okay, but anyway, am I reading this wrong? Did he scratch a lottery ticket and then won a car and then did it again to show him how that he did it and then he won $250,000? Damn! No, that's crazy though. You wonder if that's like staged though. Like, did they know what lottery ticket had that much money and they gave it to him? I don't think so, because this seems legit, but I'm just throwing that out there. Something I thought about.
Frozen solid. The U.S. state of Minnesota is famous for its numbingly cold winters.
Yep.
However, back in the December of
Basically
1980, 19-year-old Jean Hilliard had no idea she was about to prove just how cold they could get in the most unbelievable way possible. Jean was driving home one evening when she hit a ditch and got stuck. Trying to get the car back up and running on her own was useless, so she got out and started walking to a friend's house down the road. But Jean hadn't dressed for the cold, and temperatures that night hit a bitter...
Wait! Oh, it's 1980. I was literally just about to say, why didn't you call someone? They couldn't fucking do that. I'm not gonna lie though, like, if let's say it's 1980, right? I don't know how long she was there, but I would stay in my car for as long as I could, and I would literally I would blast the heating in my car where I'm sweating bullets. And then I would be like, okay, I have to go out and go, and then I would start running. Right, like that's I wonder if she literally just sat in the ditch, tried to get out, and then just fucking went to her friend's house without like really thinking about it. I don't know. Anyway,
of minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh!
She walked for 2 grueling miles until finally reaching her destination.
2 fucking miles, dog. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'll probably just stay in my car. Yeah.
Only once there,
it was 2 miles.
she tripped over. Lacking the energy to stand up with her body rapidly shutting down, she crawled towards the doorstep and, get this, froze completely solid.
Holy fuck.
6 hours later, her friend, Wally Nelson, opened the door to find what looked like a very lifelike ice sculpture of Jean in his yard. At first, he didn't think she was alive, but then he saw a few bubbles coming out of her nose. Somehow, she was still breathing. He quickly got her to a hospital, but her condition perplexed all the doctors there. Her eyes didn't respond to light, and her body didn't register on a thermometer because it was that cold.
Holy
They
fuck.
couldn't even get an IV drip into her arm.
See, can
the
they
needles
even
kept snapping.
Holy fuck. Can they even explain how someone lives from this? I feel like every single time, because there's been instances in past videos where someone survives being practically frozen, right? And I'm like, how though? Like, is there a science explanation? They haven't given me one.
On her hard skin. With no idea what else to do, they put heat pads along her body and waited. A few hours passed, and somehow, miraculously, Jean opened her eyes. Another few hours, and to her parents' delight, she could talk coherently. So how did she escape being literally frozen solid with no permanent damage? Well, it's possible that this was a case of extreme hypothermia. And though there's no real data on it, there are dozens of cases just like Jean's. When a person's body cools down below freezing temperatures, their blood flow slows, and their body requires less oxygen, like a kind of hibernation.
Yeah.
One doctor has theorized that when a frozen person is warmed back up, and their blood flow increases at the same rate as their temperature rises, they can recover. This may well have been what saved Jean's life. Either that or she's the real-life Elsa, and this was just the first manifestation of her ice powers. Crazily, both theories seem
Yo, I
just
gotta stop with these edits. What the fuck is this? But okay, but they're talking about it like that is the only, like, explanation they have, right? They don't even feel confident that is even what actually happened. I don't know. Bro, see, this makes me think that, like, we can freeze people for years and they can just be unfrozen and come back, like on some Futurama shit, bro. I really fucking think that shit, bro.
Likely.
I don't know. That is crazy though.
Fire ant freefall.
What the fuck did you say?
Skydiving is the kind of thing I've always wanted to do, but never had the guts to actually go through with. But North Carolinian Joan Murray had no such problem.
Let's see this, bro.
Back in 1999, Joan had already completed an impressive 35 jumps. So, as she stood in the plane 14,500 feet in the air and prepared for her 36th jump, she wasn't nervous. She wasn't even nervous when she opened the plane doors, leapt straight out, and started free-falling down to Earth at 120 miles per hour. However, when she tried to pull her parachute, something happened that made her very nervous. It wouldn't come out. Refusing to panic, Joan reached for the reserve chute and tugged hard. With relief, she felt it leap from her bag, expand out, and jerk her into a slow descent. But then she started spinning in a circle, tangling the chute's cords in a knot behind her. No matter how hard she tried to pull against the force, she only spiraled faster and faster, losing all control. It was no good. Joan rocketed towards the cold, hard ground at a bone-crunching 80 miles per hour. She hit the earth, heard a loud crack, and everything faded to black.
Nah, see?
Joan felt...
And then this bitch somehow survived. And you see how old she was? I'm sorry. And someone that is that old ain't surviving that shit. I'm not saying someone like me could survive that, because if I couldn't. So how the fuck did she?
Into a coma.
Bones made of
and
steel?
After being taken to a hospital, she underwent copious reconstructive surgeries and blood transfusions. The whole right side of her body had been crushed. It wasn't looking good.
She landed on her
after
side.
2 weeks, she woke up and went on to make a full recovery. How was this even remotely possible?
Yeah.
Well, by complete chance, Joan had crash-landed on a fire ant nest.
Yo, hit me with that bullshit. But no. But here's the thing, bro. Even if your bitch ass landed in an ant pile, fire ant pile, you're still living from that. How big was this damn ant pile? The fuck? This ain't Assassin's Creed, bitch. There's no hay barrel, bruh. The fuck? Nah. I don't believe this shit. This must be fake as fuck. Explain it, bro.
The venomous ants immediately started crawling all over her, biting and stinging her about 200 times.
Wow,
Their
that's
venom,
insane.
called solanopsin, stimulates the nervous system, and the ants injected Joan with so much of the stuff that it kept her heart beating until the ambulance arrived. Incredibly, the whole experience didn't knock her passion for plunging.
What?
And she later went on...
Wait! What the fuck are you telling me? This might be the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life. Listen to this shit again.
And stinging her about 200 times. Their venom, called solanopsin, stimulates the nervous system, and the ants injected Joan with so much of the stuff that it kept her heart beating until the ambulance arrived. Incredibly, the whole experience didn't knock her passion for plunging, and she later went on to complete a 37th skydive. You could say that her story had a bit of an anti-climax.
What the fuck? So all you're saying is I can fall from that height, land in a damn ant pile, and fucking live. First off, you didn't say how big the ant pile was. I'm assuming it's not that big, right? Because all their fucking shit's underground, right? So it's probably not that damn big. If anything, it's like a molehill type of big, you know? I'm sorry, I'm pausing so much. Bro, that might be the most insane thing. That is the craziest thing I've seen of this video, of this fucking series so far. Is that. I don't think anything's gonna fucking beat that, bro. Honestly, nothing's gonna beat that shit. Prior, I think the craziest one was the bitch that fell and landed on the electric wires and it broke her fall and she lived. Yeah, bro. I don't know.
Avalanche escapes.
That was insane.
Now, my ideal vacation involves a tropical island, a good book, and bottomless cocktails. Though some people prefer to be a bit more adventurous, like this serious skier in the French Alps. They look like they're having a blast.
Oh, it's just a bear?
But while slaloming down the slope, they accidentally aggravated the snow, causing a small avalanche.
Holy shit! Oh, dude, that is horrifying. And you held on to the GoPro. Yeah, shout out to you, bro. You're like, oh, you're falling? She's like, oh, this would be great content. I'm holding on to this shit. Yeah, okay.
Oh, I'd have panicked so bad, but this guy didn't even let go of his GoPro despite a nasty bump with a tree.
Damn, yeah.
After crashing to the ground and riding the snowslide down, luckily he slowed and came to a stop. But often avalanches like this carry such momentum that anyone caught up in them is whisked to the bottom and buried. Yep. And this is a danger one group of friends found out the hard way. While riding snowmobiles in the Uinta Mountains, Utah, the group suddenly felt a massive rumble. Sure enough, a huge avalanche was crashing towards them. Thinking they were far enough away from it, one of them started
I want to see an avalanche like in real life. I feel like that would be so fucking surreal. I want to see one.
Their friend at the base of the mountain raced off out of frame and escaped, but the cameraman underestimated just how far the avalanche would go.
Also, I'm sorry. What the fuck? I feel like every time I see an avalanche, there's these dumbass fucking people that are like, hold on, dude. Let me get this real quick. I know it's like 100 feet away from me, but like, let me get this show. You underestimated this.
Started filming. Their friend at the
You
base of the mountain
underestimated this. Yo, what are we doing, bro?
raced off out of frame and escaped, but the cameraman underestimated just how far the avalanche would go.
Ah, damn. Using the camera and shit. Damn. I won't lie though, it would be insane, bro, to literally drive away from an avalanche, bro. That would be like fucking cinema, bro.
Yep.
Holy fuck.
I'm out.
The super scary footage shows them getting completely buried under the freezing snow.
Bro, both of them are
With a
dumb.
lot of wriggling and kicking, though, they eventually freed themselves and lived to tell the tale. And while that's cause for comfort, I think I'll stick to my book and bottomless cocktails, thanks. Bathtub joyride.
That was also that was
Being
crazy
caught
one.
in a storm can be a pretty terrifying experience. Usually you're safe inside your house unless you live somewhere prone to tornadoes. Back in 2017, 75-year-old Charlesetta Williams and her son, Ricky, were watching TV in their home in Marion County, Texas, when they heard the loud ruckus of an approaching storm. And in Marion County, storms mean tornadoes. Expecting the worst, Ricky led his mom upstairs to the bathroom and helped her into the tub before climbing in.
Wait, let's stop there. A tornado and you're going upstairs. Ain't that like dumb as fuck to do? And why a bathtub? First off, and why don't you have a fucking cellar? Your house didn't come with a cellar, I guess? I don't know, bro. At that point, bro, I don't even know what the safest thing to do is. Is this literally the safest fucking thing to do?
A bathtub is actually one of the best places you can go in a storm, if you don't have a bunker, because they're heavy and firmly anchored to the water pipes. At least, that's the theory.
But like, when you're upstairs, when it can rip you... Alright, bro.
Within minutes, there was a loud thunder.
This isn't fucking Family Guy, bro. You're not Cleveland Brown. You know what I mean?
Roar as the storm hit the house and ripped straight through it. The roof of the house was suddenly torn off, and Ricky and Charlesetta held on for dear life. The whole porcelain tub shook violently. Then, unbelievably, it was wrenched from the floor and picked up above the wreckage of their house.
Huh?
They rose higher and higher, spinning around in the air alongside bits of roof and furniture. Then the tub flipped over, and they were flung down onto the ground. Miraculously, they both landed with only a few cuts and bruises, even though their house was a pile of rubble.
Fuck.
Now that's a crazy story, no matter how you spin it.
Okay, well, you didn't tell me how high they went up. Though that is still insane. Not more insane than falling 14,000 damn feet, but that's still crazy.
Stephen Callahan can. If there's one thing worse than being caught in a storm on land, it's being caught in a storm at sea. Back in 1981, experienced sailor Stephen Callahan set sail from Rhode Island, U.S., and was en route to Antigua when one night the weather got wild. During the chaos, Stephen's small boat hit what he thought was a whale and started to sink. Thinking quick, Stephen blew up his 6-foot-wide inflatable life raft, but he needed supplies if he was to survive out in the middle of the ocean. As his boat sank below the surface, Stephen dived underwater and was able to grab a spear gun, an emergency kit, navigation charts, and a few other essentials. Then he pulled himself onto the raft and drifted away across the
wow.
lonely expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. Forced to go wherever the waves took him, Stephen was sent westward. He made drinking water from solar stills he'd salvaged from the boat, which used the sun's heat to evaporate and distill salt water, and ate rations from the emergency kit. These didn't last long, though, and when they ran out, Stephen was forced to use his spear gun to catch fish and birds to eat. Out of desperation, he even ate barnacles. Every day that went by brought another challenge. He faced shark attacks, raft punctures, lost a whole third of his body weight, and at points he felt like he couldn't go on. But he never gave up. Using his experience at sea and sheer determination, Stephen survived on his own in his tiny inflatable raft for 75 days. Then, on the 76th, he was finally spotted and brought to shore by some fishermen off the coast of Marie-Galante. Almost 3 months since his brutal ordeal began, Stephen was saved. How long do you think you'd last? Never mind 3 months, I'd give myself 3 minutes before I'd start crying like a baby.
Yep, because I can't swim. So I'd be fine.
Tire terror. Some people hate driving down highways. I can see why. They're loud, busy, and often stressful. Whatever your opinion, we can all agree that having a huge tire randomly smash through the ceiling of your car would make the experience significantly worse. And one Brit, while driving down the busy M6 in England, got exactly that. He'd been driving as normal when a truck heading in the opposite direction lost one of its tires. It hurtled across the road, clipped off the central barrier, and smashed straight through the windshield of his car. But it didn't just smash the window, it ripped through the entire roof, tearing it straight off before getting lodged in the back seat. Extraordinarily, it somehow missed the driver, despite hitting pretty much everything else, and he still managed to pull over and stop the car safely. The luckiest part, though, is that just...
Bro, if I got hit by a fucking tire on the highway, I'm stopping in my tracks, and I'm just getting out. I'm leaving my car in the middle of the road. I don't give a... That's crazy.
Hours before, the driver's young child had been begging to come with him and would have been sitting right where the tire ended up. In what was possibly the best decision he'd ever made, the father said no. Man, I need to get the number of this guy's guardian angel.
For real,
Boulder Dash. The coastal city of Keelung, Taiwan is famously surrounded by tall mountains. Most of the time, they're incredibly scenic and boast some seriously gorgeous views. But on August 31st, 2013, Mother Nature turned them into one heck of a weapon. A driver was heading down one of the mountainside roads when suddenly he was hit by a torrent of debris that came rolling down in a landslide, pushing his car off to the side. Then, a huge boulder slammed down after it, exactly where the car would have been had it not just been pushed. And the way it just teetered there before settling back down again, it gives me shivers just...
No, that is insane. Yo, that's insane. That guy was supposed to live that day. That is absurdly crazy, bro. And these roads are garbage. The roads are flooded. God damn.
Watching it. Don't worry, though. Nobody was hurt. The journey just got off to a very rocky start.
Can we stop making these jokes?
Screw this.
What?
When I was a kid, I always wanted a tree house, but we never had a tree that was suitable for building one in. After hearing about this next kid's experience, though, I'm pretty glad I never got one. Several years ago, Darius Foreman was building a treehouse in Maryland, U.S., when he slipped and fell headfirst from one of the branches, right onto a board with a great big screw jutting out of it.
Yo, so how did he not die? This is some Happy Tree Friends shit. You know Happy Tree Friends? I'm sorry, and if you don't know what it is, don't look it up. But no, for real though, this is some Happy Tree Friends shit. His parents rushed outside and called an ambulance. Defying all odds, he was alive, albeit with a plank attached to his head. However, if the screw had gone just a single millimeter more, it would have been a very different story. When the medical helicopter arrived, though, he couldn't fit through the door because the board was too big.
Firefighters arrived on scene and sawed a portion of it off from the top.
That
However,
is
they couldn't
insane.
saw too close to the boy's head or risk nudging the nail and causing more damage. Eventually, another
Right,
bigger
I mean, you don't need to cut it all the way. Cut it where it can fit into the door.
arrived, and Darius was finally flown to a hospital. Once there, doctors carefully removed the rest of the board, and Darius went on to make a full recovery. But thank God they didn't screw up.
Dog.
Cray
These
LeRae.
jokes are crazy.
Anyone who
What?
drives knows what a
What's he
pain
doing?
breaking down on the side of the road can be. But what if your car broke down in the middle of the Sahara Desert, you had no phone, and only a few days of food and water? This wasn't a hypothetical question, but a stark reality Emile LeRae had to face back in 1993.
Look at that.
This adventurous
bitch-ass car he
French
got.
electrician had decided to take his trusty Citroën 2CV out exploring across Morocco. When a military blockade barred him from heading the way he wanted to go, Emile took his car off-road and decided to go around the blockade rather than turning back. Big mistake.
Oh my
For a
God.
short while, the tough little vehicle withstood the harsh desert landscape.
And then you fucked it
Then,
up. Yeah.
Emile hit a stone, hard, and everything groaned to an unrepairable standstill. Though he had
what are
some
we
basic
doing?
knowledge of the area, Emile was unsure where the nearest village was, and it was too far to hike. So instead of panicking, he came up with a crazy plan. Using his engineering skills, he'd transform his broken car into a motorbike. Emile went into survival mode, eating less, drinking less, and focusing purely on the task at hand.
There's no way.
First, he removed the shell of the car
There's no
and
way.
used it as a base to store things in. Then, using pieces of it as makeshift tools, he pulled off bits of his car, bent thinner parts, drilled holes using pieces of metal, and salvaged screws, and slowly but surely built something resembling a bike. He worked through intense heat and even raging sandstorms, which he was forced to shelter from in the car's shell. After 12 arduous days, just as he was on his last drops of water, Emile finished his makeshift vehicle. He climbed aboard, hit the gas, and with immense relief rode back across the barren sands towards civilization.
Okay, no, this might be the most insane survival story of all time. Bro put all his points in engineering.
But as he triumphantly reached the Moroccan city of Tantan,
This is just
the
fucking
police
sick.
immediately fined him around
That's
$1,000.
what he did. That's what he did. That's what he fucking did. Yo, this might be the coolest fucking story I've actually ever heard in my life. I am flabbergasted.
For driving an illegal vehicle. Not exactly the welcome back from the brink
Wow. You know, if that cop, I would literally assault this cop if he did that. Like, you know what I went through, dumbass? Fuck you, and I would literally break his face.
party I bet he was hoping
That's
for.
some bitch shit though. They did that. Wow.
Carnage. While Emile LeRae is a pro at creating vehicles,
We got a
it
tire.
seems there are a lot more people
got
out there that are
logs.
pros at destroying them.
Now we got
Take this
shit.
Australian driver, for example, who didn't properly secure his load of corrugated metal to the back of his truck before setting off.
Oh, it went.
After
It
braking
went.
a little too hard, the metal sheet smashed his back window and ran through the entire left-hand side of the vehicle. This guy is so lucky he was in a right-hand
Bro,
drive car.
That's what I'm
Or
saying.
these photos would look like they belong in an episode of CSI. It's spine-chilling just to think about it.
I don't know.
But if you're scared of heights, I've got something even more freaky for you. This picture was
What?
taken back in 2006, just outside of Hurricane City, Utah, on State Highway 59.
Okay.
Seems like a fairly standard road
Looks like he
accident,
almost
right?
just went off a fucking
However,
cliff.
if I zoom out a bit, you'll see it's anything but.
Yeah,
For a start, the truck was
God.
going so fast it not only smashed through the guardrail
Yeah.
and off the road, but launched up in the air and flipped 180 degrees. And it's a good job it did, because otherwise it would have fallen down this.
Whoa!
Yep, the driver in that truck vaulted at high speed right over a huge
Hey, as long as he fucking lands on an anthill, I guess he's okay, right? Fuck.
mere inches away from the stomach-churning drop below.
That is crazy.
Somehow, both driver and passenger survived with only a few
Oh my God,
cuts
there
and
was a
bruises.
passenger?
I'm not really sure why they call it reckless driving when the car always ends up wrecked. Sniper survivor. There aren't many situations more dangerous than all-out war, so soldiers are trained to expect life-threatening scenarios and deal with them appropriately. Even so, what U.S. Marine Sam Arnold survived in Afghanistan back in 2013 is almost impossible to believe.
Okay.
While scoping out a location, Sam's
I've
squad
seen this.
heard gunfire
Bro, literally, just watch.
and decided to investigate.
No, this is a
Then,
crazy video.
this happened.
Holy fuck. Oh my god.
Holy cow. A sniper in the distance fired straight at Sam, with the bullet hitting him square on the helmet. After rushing back to safety, the Marines regrouped. Against all odds, Sam was fine, if a little shocked. In fact, I'd say he took it incredibly
His
well.
helmet though?
Dude, that's through.
All right, let's get out here and do something about this.
It's one thing stopping a shot from a small
Oh my
firearm,
gosh.
but to stop one from a powerful sniper rifle is another matter entirely.
It must have
Luckily,
kinda
thanks to a
grazed him,
combination of a strong helmet and relatively low-power rifle,
Oh, okay.
Sam Arnold
Never mind.
made it out with his life.
What kind of rifle was it though? I guess they don't know. Yo.
Crash landing. More than
Okay.
50 million road traffic accidents occur around the world every year.
Damn!
But occasionally, one of those accidents is so crazy it defies belief. When a group of 3 friends were driving in their pickup truck near Johannesburg in South Africa back in 2012, they were suddenly met with a terrifying sight. A small aircraft had spun out of control and was diving down in their direction at an alarming speed.
Oh,
Before anyone
God.
could react, the plane smashed into the road ahead, burst into flames, and hurtled towards them at a breakneck pace. The driver
Imagine
of
the
the truck,
fucking pilot
Monica
lives.
Braganca, hit the brakes hard and closed her eyes. With a deafening crash, the plane's cockpit blasted straight into the front of the truck. The man in the back seat, Tony van Oswegen, was flung hard through the rear window and landed over 30 feet away.
Damn!
The 2 girls in the front desperately forced their way out of the destroyed vehicle's
That
side
is
windows and started running for their
insane, bro.
lives. The plane looked like it was about to explode,
about the
and there was no
pilot?
time to save the 2 people still inside.
Ah, fuck.
But then, out of nowhere, a group of men appeared and heroically dashed to the burning plane.
Yo!
By sheer chance, they'd been freeboarding nearby and heard the crash. Clambering atop the smoking cockpit, one of them
Heroes,
reached
for
in through the
real.
shattered windshield and undid the pilot's seatbelts.
Oh,
With his friend's
no
help,
way
they
the
pulled them
pilots
free
live.
and together managed to escape the wreckage
That
minutes before the whole thing exploded in a
is
torrent of flames.
insane.
No,
Real?
this isn't the plot to the next Mission Impossible movie.
That's not a real. That's not
Despite the
real photo.
lack of Tom Cruise,
It is. Well, it looked like they couldn't even survive that shit.
everybody lived to tell the terrific tale with no serious injuries. Let's just hope there's not a sequel. Turtle hurdle. The chances of a plane crashing into a car are low.
It's a
But what are the
turtle.
odds a turtle would come crashing down from the heavens?
What?
Well, considering they can't fly, you'd assume 0, right? Well, in Florida, this bizarre phenomenon has happened at
Of course. It's fucking Florida. Yeah.
least twice. While driving down Interstate 4 in May of 2016, something round suddenly slammed straight into Nicole Biana's windshield,
Bro, how?
shattering glass all
There's
over
like
her.
a seagull pick it up.
Forced to
I
hit
feel
the
like that wouldn't
brakes
even make
hard,
sense.
she came to a screeching stop on the side of the highway. Luckily, she was uninjured. However, when she'd got over the initial shock, she was even more stunned to realize that there was a turtle in the car with her. Fortunately, the surprise passenger was okay
Did it live?
too.
Okay.
But wait, there's more. In 2021, it happened again.
Oh my God.
Only this time, the rapid reptile went straight through the windshield
Damn!
and bonked an elderly lady on the head.
Oh, shit.
Again, thankfully, both parties survived.
Oh, that's good.
So what the heck was responsible for the flying turtle
What the
attacks?
fuck?
Any guesses? Turns out, the little green fellas had been trying to cross the road when their shells had been nicked by passing cars. The force of the car hitting the shell sent the turtles soaring
What?
into the air, only to come crashing back down through people's windscreens.
Really?
So really, it's a lucky escape for both turtle and human. I can only imagine what must have been going through their scaly little heads.
Wait, how is that even possible though? Because wouldn't you think it would just? I don't even know. I don't.
Other than the windscreens, of course.
That is crazy.
Okay, that's just about all the death-defying escapes that I can handle for now.
Okay. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. The craziest one was this one. Bro, she landed in a fucking ant pile. And because they were fucking injecting her with venom, or whatever the fuck it was, they made her heart rate still beat. Yeah, bro, that might be the most insane shit I've ever heard in my fucking life, bro. I'm not gonna lie. And again, nothing's probably ever gonna beat that shit, bro. Straight up, nothing. Nothing is beating that shit. Wow, okay, let's read these comments. Most people, I like turtles. The turtle in the story, I am bird. Just wasn't fucking funny, bro. This is like YouTube shorts humor. Alright, sorry. If Mario Kart has taught me anything, is that turtle shells can come out of nowhere. That's funny as fuck. And that was a green turtle too, bro. That had that accuracy, dude. God damn. I bet the kid who saved his mom from the fallen tree got the best Christmas. Yeah, probably. Can we just appreciate those fire ants from keeping you alive? Dude, y'all don't understand how insane that was. No one's talking about it in the comments. And granted, I know she pulled her parachute and then she pulled the other one, so it kind of slowed her speed down a little bit, but they said she was going 80 miles per hour. Dog, if you're going 80 miles per hour and you get hit by a car and you fly out your window, you're fucking dead. How did this bitch hit the ground? And it's because of the ants. So you tell me, if I get in a car crash and I fly into a ditch with an ant pile, I'm gonna live? Without hitting my head, of course? That is fucking crazy. I won't lie, that's crazy as fuck. Like, be amazed, a turtle flew out of the sky. Me? Why? Be amazed, crashed into a windshield. Me? Why? At least twice. Why? In Florida. Oh, that's why. Not surprising, bro. It's Florida. Honestly, Rockstar, because the next game takes place in Florida, make that an Easter egg, please. Just be driving down the fucking street and make a turtle hit your windshield and you die. You know how fucking funny that would be? Like, the odds are like 1,000 to 1. 1,000,000 to 1 even, but please make that happen. That'd be so fucking funny, bro. Anyway though, y'all, that's today's video. I say this every video, but if y'all have any crazy survival stories that you've survived from, put it down in the comments below. I'd love to read some. And yeah, but anyway though, y'all, that's today's video. If you liked it, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff you're going to do. And yeah, have a good day. Love y'all, and peace.
Every time I call you, babe, you never fucking answer. And I just won't leave a voicemail, cause I'm just so fucking awkward, babe. Hey,
Also, I just want to say it is June 14th as I'm recording this, and I just learned that Oliver Tree, the musical artist, passed away in a helicopter crash. And I just want to say my condolences to him. That is and everyone involved. I think 6 people as of right now confirmed have passed away in that crash. So rest in peace to all of them. And for Oliver Tree, you know, I know some of his music. I'm a fan of some of his songs, and he was like 30, was he 32 or something like that? And yeah, man, it's so sad to hear that. And I don't know, I just wanted to say that. It's crazy that he passed away like that, man. Anyway, I just want to say that. Rest in peace, Oliver Tree.